storyteller for this evening is Cara Loft. Cara grew up in a small farming community called Ilderton, located just northwest of London, Ontario. She spent summers on Tyendinaga Mohawk territory, exploring the land and playing with her cousins. She's from the Wolf Clan and a proud hand drum carrier, women's traditional dancer, singer, photographer, and poet. Currently, she works for Wilfrid Laurier University in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, as the coordinator for the Master of Social Work Aboriginal Field of Study program. She graduated from Laurier in 2013 with a Bachelor's of Science Honors Health Sciences program and moved into community development after attending Humber College in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, for international development. Her passion and love lay with her land and her people. Her ultimate goal is to foster a sense of understanding and help build relationships between the Indigenous and non-Indigenous people of Canada. She finds that a common thread that brings all people together is art. And with this thread, she will weave a tapestry that will bring together the people of her country. She wishes to tell a story with her photography and her poetry tonight, to create narrative of the coming together and the building of a better future with one another. Please welcome Cara.
Sego, Segunguelo, Cara Loft Young Yats, Tyendinaga Mohawk Territory, Wolf Clan. Hello everyone, and I'm just going to try and adjust this. I mean, Elsa did such a smooth job of it, I was just like, I'm going to go up there and totally not be able to move this. Yeah, no, still not. Yeah, there we go. Okay. When I get nervous, I try and crack jokes and be funny. But in truth, I'm very honored to be here tonight. I was asked by Carolina to be a part of this after I did my first poetry slam with KW Poetry Slam Group. So, you know, it's a big honor for me to be here tonight. And I like to say to my friends that I'm not a good actor. I'm really not. I'm not good at pretending to be somebody I'm not. But what I'm really good at is telling the truth. And so tonight I'm going to share with you a piece of my story, being half Mohawk, half Canadian, and what that has looked like for me over the past 25 years that I've been on this planet. I was 6 years old when the world first showed me that I was different and didn't quite fit right. A girl painted, half red and half white. My mother held my hand as we walked through the Sears in Masonville Place. It was summer, and I was wearing my favorite jean skirt and Disney t-shirt, with Pocahontas painting all the colors of the wind on the front. My favorite Disney character, because she looked like me. A woman came up to me and my mother and said, "Oh, she's so cute. Is she adopted?" And my mother responded curtly, "No, she is my daughter." And what you must understand is that my beautiful mother has light skin and blonde hair, and I am the opposite to her fair. I have dark brown hair and almond-shaped eyes. And I asked my mom, "Am I adopted?" "No," she said, "you are my daughter." And that was that. And what you must understand is that my father is a handsome Mohawk man who also has dark brown hair and almond-shaped eyes. And I? Who was I? A girl painted, half red and half white, who saw herself reflected in both of her parents' eyes, but not their face and not their skin. I was a girl painted, half red and half white, thinking I could paint with all the colors of the wind, but confused as to why I did not look like my beautiful mother. I was 8 years old when I first heard the term apple used to describe me. Summers spent on the reservation, picking and pressing flowers with my grandmother, my graceful grandmother. Watching and naming the birds, this was the first time that I had heard the term apple used to describe people like me. Red on the outside, but white on the inside. And again, I was confused. Why wasn't I red on the inside like my graceful grandmother? And my mind began to fight. A tiny tear began in the corner of my heart. Those words, adopted, came back into mind, framed like a tarnished cracked mirror, showing me my reflections as jagged pieces, brown eyes, brown hair, high cheekbones, but empty eyes, not quite red, not quite white. But innocence prevailed, and I learned how to dance, counterclockwise, holding my grandmother's hand, raising my fan, and every turn of the circle bringing me home, gently stepping on the land that I love. I was 12 years old when I realized that none of my friends looked like me, and this bothered me. I didn't want to be seen anymore. I wanted to fade away, but that's hard to do when you're the tallest girl in grade 7 and also the biggest. The tiny tear in the corner of my heart continued to grow as the world continued to show me that I was different. I began to get bigger. My clothes didn't fit. I ate away the pain and the loneliness. Food was a friend. Food never made me feel empty or unsure of myself. But I stayed away from the apples, red on the outside, but white on the inside. I cried at night because I did not know who I was supposed to be. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to have friends. But no one hangs out with the weird girl who talks to the trees or talks about what she sees in her dreams. And none of the boys ever had crushes on the tall Mohawk girl. Loneliness consumed me. The world confused me. Who was I supposed to be? My skin felt like a costume at times. I felt detached from who I was and who I wanted to be. Normal. I just wanted to be normal. Like my friends. To go to Garage and get the cute tops. To go to Sirens and get a cheap pair of jeans. But nothing ever fit quite right on the girl painted, half red and half white. I was 14 when I tried to forget who I was. I dyed my hair lighter and wore the fashion trends I had seen in the magazines. I wanted to be like the pretty girls, skinny, blonde hair, blue eyes, perfect bodies and smiles. And the media convinced me that I must look this way. And I convinced me this was the only way to be happy. The tiny tear became a rift, and I felt lost at sea, stuck on a hopeless voyage. Dissonance and discourse resonated through my body and my mind. Because in school, I was told Native meant being drunk. Native meant getting things for free. That Native people are stuck in the past with our history, and that wasn't me. Pocahontas was a Disney fantasy that I didn't want to be. Textbooks captured a frozen reality. There was no way to distinguish fact from fantasy, of loincloths, of buckskins, and how savage our ways were, that we were a sin. And I, who was I? I wanted to be normal, and I wanted to blend in, but I knew that I would never win because my hair would grow out and turn brown again. My clothes were just costumes, trying to hide those red and white feelings I kept inside. And I turned away from my native pride. The terror grew bigger in my heart, threatening to tear me apart. I just wanted to fit right. I didn't want to be that girl, painted half red and half white. I was 18 when I learned the full reality of who I was, to society and to men. And to men, I was exotic, a unique specimen of a relic of a bygone era, an Indian princess, Pocahontas, to be put on display like a museum artifact, stuck in the past behind stifling walls and thick glass. I was to be observed and enjoyed. I was a toy, something fun to play with while experimenting during university. I became a thing on display, and I didn't fight because I hated that girl, painted half red and half white. She didn't know who she was, so how could she defend herself against the constant demeaning comments and those unwanted touches? The Ibes observing me like I was some sort of natural phenomena. Food was replaced with burning liquor, so I didn't have to feel the anxiety anymore. So I didn't have to feel that pain. I was ashamed. I had become the Indian stereotype, and I wasn't all right. I did not know who I was, and this was all because I had forgotten the way. The rip in my heart threatened to break me in two. If only I knew how to sew together and mend a broken heart. I was 24 years old when I found my way back, and this was all because one day I picked up a drum and I began to play. Softly at first, unsure of my words, but this felt right, like wings on a bird. And slowly the small voice inside me began to grow, and my spirit began to show me the way things were and still could be. My spirit rooted in a white pine tree. And slowly I began to see the blending of the red and white, the understanding of ancestral knowledge and that insight. Our history is painful, covered in red. Indigenous women are missing our dead. Our water is poisoned, our land is dying, and all the while my people keep fighting to protect our way, to protect our life. Too long we've lived for and struggled in strife against colonization, globalization, the destruction of our communities, the loss of our traditional territories. But you know what? I know I am not alone, and that with every turn of the circle, it will bring me home. I carry the love of 1,000 years, watered by my people's tears. Like sweetgrass, I wave and I bend, but I never break. I will grow and I will show the world that we are not a conquered people. We are stronger than you know and wiser in our ways. And I? Who am I? I am a woman painted both red and white, and my heart shines brightly in the night. On your God stove, say no what the hey ya. Lee ho, way ya, hey ya. Gani goo, lee go, ga ya, we na hey ya. Yahweh ya, da Yahweh ya. Yahweh ya, da Yahweh ya. Yahweh ya, gani goo. Hey ya, on your God stove, say no what the hey ya. Lee ho, way ya, hey ya. Gani goo, lee go, ganya, we are hey ya. Yahweh ya, tell Yahweh ya. Yahweh ya, tell me Yahweh ya. Yahweh ya. Gani goo, go, ga, ya, hey ya. On your God stove.